Hello, everyone.
Hey everybody, how's it going?
Welcome to a new Meet the Team episode. I know we haven't had this in a while, but it's a special episode because we finally have Will Wendt with us. I'm sure everyone in the community is super familiar with you, Will. First off, as always, I'm Mikna. I'm the community lead here at Oasis, and I'll be today's host. As I said, I'm super excited to have Will with us today. I'm sure he has a lot of stories to share with us. I encourage you all to ask questions in the chat. It will be a very fun event, I'm sure. And yeah, let's get down to it. And Will, please tell us, what position do you occupy at Oasis currently?
Yeah, thanks, Minya. Yeah, I think we're gonna have a good conversation today. My role at Oasis is head of ecosystem. So the way I sort of describe that is that I primarily focus on how to work with each of the departments: BD, marketing, community, and engineering, that helps the strategy and growth for like how to grow the ecosystem. Strategy and like prioritization for how to grow this ecosystem. So the way I break that down is like on the BD side, it's predicting like DApp infrastructure as well as talking to DApps themselves, and which ones are going to be needed in order to build a thriving ecosystem. On the marketing side, it's sort of helping align marketing with various trends in crypto. So AI, zero knowledge, privacy. When those things are trending, like where does our tech stack fit in? How do we differentiate it? Because I think the engineers are often busy, so it's helpful if other people can give it a pass through first. On the community side, it's attending events, going on to sort of Twitter Spaces, as well as events like this, as well as hackathons and conferences. So.
I'm gonna share a little secret with our community, Will. I hope you're fine with that. Even though you see Will in all the Twitter spaces, in all the events, Will is not the most excited person to join online events. He doesn't like being in front of the camera, even though I think he does a really good job at it. So I don't know, Will.
Spaces are fine. Twitter Spaces are fine. There's no camera.
I know. You're always doing great, Will, and the camera loves you, honestly.
I appreciate it.
But yeah, Will is basically the person who puts all the puzzle pieces together here at Oasis. He's always researching. He's always reading up on the latest tech, trying to figure out what we need in terms of infrastructure. So he's the one responsible for all the bridges, all the RPC providers, everything you may not see in the background.
Yeah. I mean, I think there's a lot that goes into an ecosystem. There's infrastructure, there's liquidity, there's bridges, and bridges that you want to make sure connect and have the functionality and the security that also get to the right, let's say, other ecosystems that you potentially want to collaborate with. There's like a lot of moving pieces. But yeah, things like multi-sigs, for example, the average user doesn't use a multi-sig, but any DApp that's going to build on your ecosystem needs multi-sig. So like something like Oasis Safe, maybe it doesn't get a lot of love, but at the same time, like it's critical for us to get new DApps, especially higher quality DApps like DeFi, lending, and stuff like that, where you want to make sure it's as secure as possible.
I don't know why Oasis Safe doesn't get more love, but honestly, it's a great DApp, and who doesn't need a multi-sig wallet, honestly. But Will, tell me how you started at Oasis. I mean, I know how you started at Oasis, but just for reference, we've known each other for, I don't know, is it 4 years now? I think it's
4 years. Roughly 4 years, maybe like 3 years and 11 months. But I think we started the ambassador program in 2020, around the same time. But so how did I get to Oasis? I don't know. I always feel like it's a very convoluted way to get a job, like to start working in Web3. But also, I feel like sort of everyone's story is like convoluted, and I'll get into like why that is at the end of this. But basically, I went to school at Towson for chemistry, then went to pharmacy school at University of Buffalo. Realized that pharmacy is not for me. I really liked in undergrad, like learning about molecules, reactions, things that are occurring in your body, and like sort of the abstractness of like, if you take this molecule together, you add heat, or you take, you add any sort of energy into it, like what is the reaction that occurs, like that kind of stuff I found very interesting. Pharmacy school was a little bit more like learning about the healthcare system and insurances, which anyone who knows me is like, that's a bit tedious for me. So I didn't enjoy that nearly as much. Then I started working in a lab, and I guess like on the like lab side of things, like sometimes you're working and there's nothing to do for like an hour, maybe 2 hours, because like, you're just waiting for like reactants, or you're waiting for something to happen in a reaction. So I just had a lot of free time. At least sometimes I did. So I started researching crypto in that free time. I got really involved in like the Chainlink community. And then through the Chainlink community, I actually found Oasis. So Dawn has written a few papers with Ari. The Ikonin paper is the one specifically that I think got a lot of people into Oasis. I think Andrew Miller was also on that paper. A lot of, sort of the crypto sort of, I don't know, heavyweight like cryptographers were on that paper. And I just, became extremely interested in Oasis from that paper, joined the ambassador program. And then I guess sort of, I just like went ham when I got into the ambassador program. Quickly joined the BD ambassador program. Started setting up meetings. Like at one point, I think I set up like 17 meetings in a week, and like our BDs couldn't handle it at the time. So then I just started taking meetings myself. And then, I think the rest was history.
I actually remember. So when I joined the ambassador program, there was a monthly town hall. Like we host monthly town halls now with the ambassadors. And Will joined and actually thought he was a developer for Oasis because he was incredibly knowledgeable about everything that happened. I know you were, I don't know, I don't remember who was in the call, but it was one of our engineers, and you had a really serious discussion with him and you were prying everything. And then I realized you were an ambassador as myself, but I was never as knowledgeable as you are, Will. So hats off to you. You've done amazing work here. So as you said, Oasis was mainly chosen because of the affiliation with Chainlink and
well, I
Ari and Andrew.
I don't know about affiliation, like on the the
unofficial affiliation, because
it was
I remember when we were in Barcelona, like all the Chainlink Marines were super excited to meet us in person.
Yeah, I mean, I guess like the other thing was it wasn't just like I guess Ari and Dawn's sort of academic stuff together, but it also like the reason that I got into when I first got into crypto was interested in like oracles was because I felt like I was late, and so like I felt like, oh man, Ethereum already exists. No, obviously that's like, it was very naive, but I was just starting. So I was just like, oh man, like everything that's been built has already been built. So I saw like off-chain oracles as like the next 10x in terms of like sophistication, in terms of smart contracts. Like if we can, in terms of smart contracts, like if we can, get off-chain data on-chain, that like increases what can be done in a smart contract by a lot. And I think that sort of played out during like DeFi summer. We saw that oracles came online, and then like we quickly got like synthetics, Aave, and like all of DeFi like popped up during that, once you could reliably do liquidations and other things with price feeds. And then Oasis, very similarly, I thought was the next 10x, because all right, now we have the ability to do smart contracts, in a programmable way, and trustless way. We have off-chain data. Like, what's the other thing that we need? And I was like, well, like any Web3 application, or Web2 application, it involves some level of confidentiality. So I thought, being able to have flexible confidentiality in a smart contract was was the next 10x. Like it increases the sophistication, as well as like the scope of what can be done in a smart contract by a significant amount. So it was also, yeah, I guess it was the research end, but it was also like at the same time, sort of, I'm always thinking about like where Web3 is going, and that's sort of what led me to Oasis as well.
I'm honestly just upset that it took so long for people to become aware of why privacy is important, because before joining Oasis, I remember watching, I think Coin Bureau had a video about privacy projects that included Oasis, I think Fala, and a couple of others. Yeah, I think it was back in 2020, and it made me realize like that was missing back then, and it was really important. Again, I'm just upset that it took so long for people to realize this. But what is like, what is your vertical in what is your preferred vertical in Web3? Are you a DeFi man? Are you a gaming, an NFT aficionado?
I would say like right now, like it's DeFi, but it like always switches. I'm always looking for like whatever industry is like innovating the most, is where I probably am going to be like spending time. So like I just like to play, I guess, with like new technologies and sort of get a handle on them. So I was really big into DeFi, and then sort of gaming for a little bit. I was doing a lot with AI agents recently as well. So maybe I'm like a split between DeFi and AI agents right now. But yeah, it's generally like wherever something new is happening, that's what I'm most interested in, because I'm just always thinking about like where we're going, like I said.
Do you think, like, I know this should be a question for Marco, but you're here, and do you think AI agents are the next big thing in crypto?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know about like the next, like there might be multiple next things at the same time. But yeah, they're definitely like here to stay. I was talking to a product the other day, who actually won a hackathon with us. And they were like talking about like giving an agent like control over access of like your bank account numbers, the same way like people have done it with like a immutable Twitter account that's sort of tweeting for you, or maybe tweeting on its own. With Ease, Fala built one, Flashbots built one. I think there's Flashbots is called Teleporter, but like there's no reason why you can't do that with things that aren't Twitter accounts. Like you could definitely do it with a bank account. And so like they were like, basically we can create a payroll system where it gets to your wallet and then immediately like goes through the steps to get it into your bank account. Like take your stable coin and convert it to your bank account. And like maybe that's not like the craziest idea, but like it was one that would save me like probably a half an hour every single time we get our paychecks. So I was just like, yeah, I don't know. I think that there's like so much that can be done with AI and with AI agents. And it always sort of starts in like the most basic use case, Twitter bots, things handling like sort of intense off chain and stuff. But I mean, it's quickly just expanding the scope. And it's similar to like Oasis confidentiality, and it's similar to Chainlink oracles. Like it just adds so much flexibility to what can be done. So I think whenever that happens, it's always going to be a trend.
I think it's gonna happen very soon, and yeah, the use cases are unlimited. Basically, I love that. So you said you were. I'm gonna revert a bit. You said you were working in a lab and had a lot of spare time, and chose to do more research in crypto. Why crypto and not another field?
There's like
what got you? Was it just the idea of getting rich overnight?
No. I mean, that helped because I wasn't getting paid a lot in the lab, but like the idea of like financial gain helped. But yeah, no. When I was at Buffalo, I had this really, really good friend who I also, was always in awe of his intelligence, going for his doctorate, and he just I think it was like end of 2017. And he was like talking to me about crypto. He's like, you should really look into this. And then, interestingly enough, like I was like giving him like the talking points that CNN, Fox and everything was like normally give. And I was just like, oh, it's a scam, blah, blah, blah. And then he was just like, you should look into this. Like he didn't try to sell me. Like he just dropped it and was like, yeah, I think you'll like it. But if you don't want to look into it, that's fine. And then I was just like, all right, I really think this person, has a good head on their shoulders. He's one of the smartest people I know. Like if he says that like I'm sort of being a talking head that's just parroting other people, like, I don't want to do that. I never want to do that. I want to sort of always come to my own conclusions. So I did research into it. I became really excited about it, but sort of couldn't get too involved into it then because I was still in pharmacy school. Once I left pharmacy school, that's when I like sort of got re-interested in it, just because I was just like, I need to be doing something with my time. I also need to be I guess looking for ways to stop working in a lab.
Sorry, you muted yourself. Give me 1 second. Everything is freezing in my computer. Can you still hear me?
Yeah, I can still hear you.
Okay. Next question, and I always ask this during the Meet the Teams. I know we've come a long way over the past couple of years when it comes to improving user experience in Web3 and focusing on chain and account abstraction and everything. What do you think it's still a huge barrier of acceptance when it comes to Web3?
When it comes to Web3, I think it's still account abstraction. I think that's the most important. And the reason why is account abstraction is very broad. It can mean a ton of different things. But yeah, I think it's the user experience. Signing like 3 transactions to make a swap. The amount of signatures that have to happen. Paying gas fees, knowing like right now gas is high, I should wait 10 minutes to make the swap and it might be better. Like there's just a lot to learn. There's a lot of mistakes you can make, and people are, I think I would be afraid. Like I remember when I first made crypto transactions, I would read, like let's say I was sending it to a new address. I would literally read which address is mine, which address is theirs. Like do that 3 times, spend $1, and then do it again, like with all the money that I was going to send. Like it's scary, and not everyone is, especially like if you're not interested in like playing with, let's say, new technologies. I can understand why it makes you uncomfortable. It also takes a lot of time. So just, the wallet experience, the DApp experience, Simulacrum is doing a great job with that. I think they're built on top of Imperial. They use Oasis to manage passkeys. But yeah, you can just connect your Twitter account to Simulacrum, and and then you're good to go. In fact, you don't even have to. I think you can type like #simu tip and then say the amount and then at someone on Twitter, and it just sends it that amount. So in theory, you don't have to worry about making transactions, paying gas, anything like that. So stuff like that, I think, is massive.
By the way, we had this is internal, but we started hosting some internal workshops with our team just to present our ecosystem and our dApps and everything. And Robert actually did a demo of Simulacrum yesterday. He tipped you some ETH. I don't know if you received it.
Did see it. Yeah.
It's a really wonderful app. I hope more people find out about it and start using it, because it's really useful in my opinion. I wasn't aware that this existed, but I'm definitely going to start using it.
Yeah. I think the other thing is that it just helps you onboard users, right? Like you don't have to go download MetaMask. Like if you have a Twitter account and you just have to go to the website and click connect, and now you have a Web3 address that you can send money to and receive. And I think they're adding swaps and cross-chain transactions and stuff like that. I'm sure eventually it'll get a little complicated, but right now it's just cool. And, again, that's like an AI agent working with a project. So, yeah, I think it's going to bring a lot of people into the Web3 space. Like not just that, but like these sort of AI agent based on like account abstraction use cases.
Nice. And we have to give a shout out to Appon because they just released their embedded wallet SDK on Product Hunt today.
Yeah. Appon as well is doing a lot with account abstraction. They're building passkeys, as well as like they're going like most, I think, like a developer sort of route. So you can build apps in an embedded wallet similar to like Privy, if people are familiar with that. But they use Oasis for confidentiality. So yeah, there's a lot going on. Like I said, account abstraction is sort of a broad use. Like they're not all trying to solve the same problem. They're all just trying to solve the user experience problem.
Exactly.
But
I remember seeing a Web3 game, and it wasn't a long time ago, a couple of months ago, and it was a sort of Diablo type of game, so isometric RPG, and for every hit you made, you had to sign a transaction, which is like, who wants to play that? Like, who in this world will say like, hey, I'm gonna sit down for a game of Call of Duty? No, better yet, I'm gonna play this game where I have to make 1,000 transactions in a minute just to get from point A to point B. Like, it's user experience counts for a lot.
Yeah, and I guess like one of the issues is that sometimes there's so many things that you could be focusing on, like in terms of the user experience. It's sometimes hard to figure out what should be prioritized. And I think Web3 for a long time, that was like one of the issues. Is like we didn't exactly know which aspect of the user experience we needed to tackle first. But I think we're getting there.
Exactly. This is why you need feedback for your products before you get them into production. So you've been attending a lot of conferences this year. Could you maybe share some highlights of the conferences you've attended, especially Singapore, because I wasn't?
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, like I think this year was a great year for conferences. We started, I guess, the year off at ETH Denver. At least that was my first conference. I don't know if there was one before that. But the difference between ETH Denver past February and the February before that was like night and day. It was, there was so high energy. People were, excited. They were talking about all these different use cases and where they're going to be integrated into their platforms and things like that. And I really just think it set the tone for the year. Like, maybe you think that there's cool things happening, you're excited, but you're also sort of tunnel visioned on your own ecosystem. But yeah, at ETH Denver, that was when I realized we're coming out of this bear pretty soon because developers are excited, things are getting launched. So ETH Denver was, I would say, like the highlight was just the shift in energy. Like it was very palpable. Then ETH Dam in Amsterdam was, I guess, like massive. Its highlight was like basically was the first first conference that like we really went all out for. Diana, Nelly, the entire events team did like such an amazing job. Like I can't imagine how they're organizing the logistics that are going on for all of the things that happened at, like all of the different side events and hackathon, and making sure that we have blue paint, like I don't know if they're painted, but blue roses in a bouquet, all over the place. Like I don't know how someone like pays attention to all those little details, but Diana, Nelly, events team,
they're robots.
Yeah, if you guys are listening, you guys are amazing. But I think the highlight there was just that we went hard, like for the first comp. Like it was not hard, but we put like a lot of energy. Like almost the whole team came to that conference, and I think it was like a smashing success. For people who don't know, ETHDAM is sort of a privacy focused conference. There are people from Secret and pretty much think about like a privacy project, Fala, like any of them. Why am I having a hard time thinking of more names? But pretty much name one and they were there. So I think that was a great, I can't think of words. My brain is kind of blank. But that was like very internally like satisfying, just to be like, oh, like we have done this. We put a lot of energy in it. We spent money on it, and we sort of got the outcomes that we were expecting, which I think anytime you do something for the first time, it's a little scary. Also, like there was great projects there. I think Oasis Guard built the account abstraction for a hackathon project that actually like Appon, sort of got inspired by now that they're doing their embedded wallets. So it was a really fruitful hackathon conference in terms of hacks. We got like a ton of projects, and if you want to find them, you can go to like the Oasis Playground and stuff like that. But we got a lot of proof of concepts, and then I'm just trying to remember all the conferences I went to. I guess
I also loved Ahmed's 0x2FA authenticator on chain.
Yeah.
So that was really.
We converted where like there was a good conversion from that hackathon to things that are like launched on Oasis in terms of like tooling and user experience. And then Singapore was recently, so a lot happened between ETHDAM and Singapore, but I think it was pretty clear like bull market is on. There was so many sort of developers in that hackathon. If people can't tell, conferences for me are mostly about the hackathon. I mean, I go to the booth too, but like the part that I like is seeing what people build. Like I also go to network and stuff. So that one, Singapore was great for that, and then we announced our hackathon there. We got in touch with we partnered with Ocean, Aether, Pixel Realms, DDoB,
01 Labs.
01 Labs. I should stop naming things because then I feel compelled to name them all. But yeah, we had we had some great partnerships there, some co-organizations, and I just think that we sort of had this momentum going, and we just each conference build a little bit more on the work that we did. And I wasn't in Bangkok, but I hear that it was pretty amazing and that a lot got done there. So
it was incredible, and you guys will hear more about it because I'll record a special Bangkok weekend review episode. But Bangkok's energy was amazing, and I didn't attend the actual DevCon conferences, but I went to a lot of side events. I attended Youth Global. Honestly, I was humbled to meet so many incredible developers. Even though that's not really my thing, I'm more on the community side of things. But I don't know, just seeing their energy and all the cool projects they're trying to build, I heard a lot of incredible ideas at Youth Global, and it's amazing to see how people turn this whole privacy thing on all sides and develop incredible use cases for it, things you don't even think about, because by now we're kind of used to like the different verticals, the different use cases for Sapphire and for Ruffle, but hackathons and these types of in-person hackathons are amazing because you get to hear more and more cool ideas. But you are, as you said, you're more on the hackathon developer side of things. When it comes to developer experience and Oasis, how do you think we're doing in this regard?
I mean, I think we started off the year a bit rocky. This year we went really, we did a lot more conferences this year than we ever have. Especially the ETHDAM conference. I think we got a ton of feedback because so many of them were building on our network. And then I think, Illuminex launched this year. We had a few, Simulacrum. There was a few other projects, Ocean. So we have now like a really good set of partners as well as like a way of getting feedback. So I think our developer experience is improving like at a very, very rapid rate. So I think it's massively better than it was. And like there are times where I sit back and I'm just like, wow, all right, we got it. Like developers now think it's super easy, and now it's we're really in a good place. But then because we're always innovating, we launch Raffle, right? And now we launch TDX support for Raffle. So now we need docs for that. So I think our developer experience for like sort of traditional Web3 smart contracts on a blockchain, confidentiality, those type of things are in a really good place. Our developer experience is in a really good place. I think but the newer products still need to sort of, we need feedback. We need more partners. We need products building on those to give us feedback of what they want. For example, Raffle, I know that, something that's been asked for is like, at least just something that like, sort of monitor the node, see if it's online, see how much gas is being used, that sort of thing, because it's obviously happening off chain. And then like we just integrated Router recently. Router needs its own sort of documentation because we had Seller for Opal before. Now we have another bridge, but it doesn't work like exactly the same because we have to work with Router smart contracts. So I would say developer experience overall is really good. But yeah, as we keep launching, we need to make sure that we keep doing things that generate the same feedback in order for the developer experience to continue to improve, relatively.
Just as a side note, most of the people I interviewed at Youth Global, because I tried to interview all of the projects that submitted during our hackathon, during our track at Youth Global, all of them had only high praises for our engineering team, and it really helped that we had a lot of engineers on site and they were able to offer support. I know Harry, Bernhard, Luca did an incredible job. They sat there with the hackers and helped them finish their project and sort out all the bugs. I think we do have an incredible engineering team, and our documentation is a lot better than it was in the past. But as you say, like as we keep pushing out products and innovations, we need to make sure we have the right documentation for them. Otherwise, it's hard for people to make use of them.
Yeah, and I think for us, what we learned is the best way is like not to predict what questions users will have or predict how people want to use these technologies, but it's just like to launch them. Let people play with them. Go to hackathons, let people develop on them, and then they're going to give us the feedback that we need to improve. So it's mostly like I think our current strategy of just going to lots of conferences, going to hackathons, is working. It's getting us all the feedback and that's probably one of the biggest reasons why development has improved. The ecosystem has gained more dApps, and our documentation. People have gone from complaining relentlessly about the experience to like praising us for it. So I think we have to just continue to do that.
Exactly. That's basically any product. You have to get it into the hands of users, see what they can do with it, see what bugs they find, see what issues they encounter. But conferences and Web3 aside, I want to know how Will is in his free time. What do you enjoy doing? What hobbies do you have? How do you spend your days besides researching all the new things?
The problem is that like my free time is just like exploring the aspects of crypto that I never have to work on, that I don't work on during the week here. Like if there are things that like maybe just don't make sense for like confidentiality or like are not part of the Oasis vision right now. Like for a while, AI agents were that, so I was exploring like base chain and just like playing with meme coins and stuff. But meme coins. That was a very short play. I was like maybe 10 minutes and I decided that I don't like them. But I know why people. I understand why people like them. I think they're fun. I think they're what crypto is sort of about. I think people lose a lot of money on them. But if you view it as like gambling, people lose a lot of money gambling too, but people have fun with it. So, but yeah, what I do with my free time is often like look at crypto, and watch videos and try to see what's going on there. Go to the gym a lot. I have been, except for today, because today I have a bit of a headache, but I have been going to the gym at 5 every morning for like the last month and a half.
Nice. Super proud of you, Will.
Which has actually worked out really well, because that means I'm waking up at like the same time as the European people are, for work. So, now we're like on the same schedule. I always felt bad when someone messaged me at like 5 o'clock in the morning and I didn't read it till like 10. It was maybe a critical issue or something like that. So, yeah, the gym. I research a lot about nutrition. a lot about, I guess like, yeah, pharmaceuticals, stuff like that. What's going on there? Like, I know there's like a trend like right now with like semaglutide, which I think is Ozempic and like weight loss, but like at the same time, they're finding that it has like other benefits. So yeah, I look into like a lot of like different areas that I can, just like think about. I read like a lot of like philosophy books. Like right now I'm reading this book. It's like an autobiography, but I guess it's a biography of Nietzsche, however you want to say it. And then video games. I play every once in a while. I'll just go on like a super critical like video. Like I haven't played video games in probably like 2 months, but every once in a while, like I'll like pick up, let's say, Smash Ultimate, or I'll pick up Dota, and then it'll be like for a month, that's the only hobby I have outside of work, and then I'll get mad at the game and I'm not improving, and then I'll just give it up.
I need to get you in touch with some of my friends who are playing a lot of Dota. I've never been a fan, to be honest,
Man,
of
it's the best game.
online games. I know it's fun, but I've never been a fan of online games. I need a game with story that has a beginning and an ending and a sense of achievement. Otherwise, I just grind and spend way too much time. The only thing that's similar is Diablo for me. I've played a lot of Diablo in my life, but like I get it. Sorry, yeah,
me and Elon Musk. Who knows? Maybe you played with him before.
No, I'm not that good. No, but I get it. Like, who has time for games anymore? I wish I had time. I have a monster desktop PC laying around, and I never get to use it. So books. What was the Nietzsche's biography called?
I don't know. Sergey Nazarov recommended it or something, so I went out and bought it. But I'll go get it. I don't know the name of it.
Don't live in the middle of the call. How about that? Okay, while Will is back with his book, let me tell you.
And I really like it. If you like philosophy, it's a good book. Nietzsche, Philosopher, Psychologist, and Antichrist.
Okay, nice.
So, by Alexander Nahamas. So, I would recommend it if people like it. Sorry.
Okay. No, we're always looking for new book recommendations. So, thank you for that.
I won't get up again. Sorry, man. Yeah.
No, it's fine. It's fine. These are casual talks. I think people enjoy our style of conversations. Last question would be: what are your long-term goals for the Oasis? Like, how do you envision us in the future? How do you position Oasis in the broader ecosystem of Web3?
How do we position Oasis? I think we try to improve the Oasis privacy layer sort of ideas. Some of our most successful dApps are like technically like Oasis privacy layer. Some using router and seller, some not using it, because technically there's ways to do privacy layer type stuff without a messaging bridge. But I think we try to improve those kind of use cases, those kind of experiences. And Raffle helps us do that in a lot of ways. Like you could, for example, build like a Bitcoin light client or Ethereum light client inside a Raffle node that's like constantly monitoring those blockchains, and then can push information to Oasis. So like you don't need a message passing bridge. It just takes like maybe 2 blocks, and now smart contracts in Oasis are technically reading state on Ethereum. That's something that's really super cool. In fact, the smart contract in Oasis can directly sign a transaction on Ethereum or one of these other EVMs, because it can actually have the private key to like an EOA wallet over there, because it's encrypted, right? So there's just like a lot of really cool things. So continuing to build out that infrastructure, because I think for a long time it was like layer 1s, layer 2s all verse each other. I think we're learning that like Web3 is going to be, there's at least going to be like several prominent ecosystems, and they're all probably sort of going to be differentiated. And so like I've always talked about this idea of like a modular application where, you know, maybe you do like most of your computation on Arbitrum because it's cheap there and, you know, block times are fast. Maybe then you use, I don't know, Celestia for data availability. You use Oasis for your confidential compute and those sort of aspects. And then maybe you settle on Ethereum. Or now you might even be able to settle on Bitcoin with a lot of, I think someone just did like a ZK proof that was validated on Bitcoin blockchain. So yeah, like there's a lot of really cool things that you can do there. So I think Oasis has to continue to sort of etch that position for themselves to be like the de facto place where people should do their confidential computation and build confidential smart contracts. The other one is, I think, in the AI space and I guess like tokenized data space. You know, I know people sort of have always like wanted this. This is something Oasis has always talked about. Unfortunately, it's a slow process. You know, like it's not. The industry was not really ready for it. Not even the Web3 industry. The Web2 industry wasn't ready for any of this AI stuff when we first started, even though like we were talking about it all the time, but there's a lot of work that still needed to be done. So we've always been sort of positioning ourselves for what we knew was coming. But, you know, I think on the Web3 side, there's still a lot that needs to get done to fulfill that mission that we've always had, like tokenized data and stuff like that. But having partners like Ocean, one, like giving us feedback. Like I said, feedback is immensely important, but also like, I think it's validating and it helps build sort of our credibility in the space. You know, Ocean has been around forever, since before Oasis. They were like probably the first people talking about personal data in Web3. So like if OGs like that are validating us, Delta DAO as well, you know, some of these projects that have been, you know, they didn't pop up just because AI got here and everyone's like, it's a trend and everyone wants to capitalize on it. No, they've been building towards this for, you know, 8 years now. So when those type of projects are sort of tapping Oasis, I think that builds like an ecosystem. And our goal is just to continue to work with them, continue to improve their experiences, expand their products and what can be done, and sort of build an ecosystem around that. So those are like the two ends, the Oasis privacy layer end and the AI end. Those are how I think, you know, our sort of future looks.
And I totally agree. And we're so lucky to have Marco with us.
Leading, I'm very happy
leading the AI vertical.
Yeah. And it saves me a lot of time that I don't have to read things. I can just ask him and he always knows.
I know. He's so knowledgeable about it.
And I don't think he was doing anything with AI before he got hired at Oasis, which I think makes it even that much more impressive that he's learned all this, like an incredible amount of information in like, not just Oasis's sort of tech stack, but like everybody else's as well. Like
he did meddle with AI before joining us, but not at this level. So he's really impressive, the amount of knowledge he accumulated over the last couple of months. Let me see if we have any live questions from the community. We don't. So I just want to thank you so much, Will, for taking the time to join this episode of Meet the Team. I was really looking forward for people to getting to know you better, see how you got started in the space, share your experiences. I think this was a lovely call. Again, I was so happy to be able to chat with you. I'm sure the community appreciated this call, and any closing thoughts?
No, I mean, thank you, Minya, for having me today. I hope, you say the community. Hopefully, there won't be too many memes about it. You know, I think they like me, so we'll see how that goes. But yeah, no, overall, it was a good call. I like to talk anytime I get the chance to talk about Oasis. You know, and sort of these tech stacks, these verticals and stuff like that. I'm always excited and passionate. Just maybe, you know, not so much about being on camera, but besides that, that was a joke.
This is, I know.
Okay.
But honestly, this is why I love our team so much, because everyone is incredibly passionate about what we're doing and what we're building here. So I think that's the key of the success of any project. If you don't have people that are passionate about what you're doing, it's all in vain.
Yeah,
honestly.
And honestly, like when you interview people, you see it quickly too. I think like every single person that we've hired that like, ended up working out really well. Like you could tell in like the first 10 minutes of them being here. It's never like I think like, yeah, really like, Harry, for example, I think like the first day was like asking ridiculous questions about
Harry. Yeah. Harry was something else, to be honest.
So I don't know. I think I think we've built a very passionate team, and that's how that's one of the key factors that's going to lead to our success.
Exactly. Thank you so much, Will. Thank you everyone for attending. I'll see you personally. I'll see you in the weekend review and for future Meet the Team episodes. And yeah, let's keep in touch. Thank you, everyone.
Bye, everybody. Have a good one.
Have a great rest of the day. Bye.